Hauser, and I am running as a candidate for the Alberta Liberal Party. You may or may not have heard already, but myself and the Alberta Liberal Party carry no affiliation with Trudeau and the federal government. I've had to say that a lot. I'm standing up here tonight wanting to represent the people of Livingstone, Macleod, and the citizens of Fort Macleod. I was born and raised in Calgary, having moved to High River only 2 years ago. I've been with my wife Stephanie for 11 years, married for 7, and together we have 4 children, oldest being 8, youngest only 11 weeks. I've worked on a drilling rig for the past 7 years. I don't need to elaborate on the struggles that far too many Albertans have had to deal with over these past few years. This should be no surprise to anybody, then, that I want to see our oil and gas sector better handled in the legislature and by our federal government. Justifiably, many Albertans are feeling the federal government is being deliberate in the lack of support for Alberta and its energy interests. Energy East is a top priority of mine and my party. It was given up on too fast. It only makes sense, both environmentally and economically, to reduce and eventually eliminate the dependence on oil imports in Eastern Canada. The industry is and has been willing to work with government to establish regulations that continually improve on environmental standards. Moving the goalposts and continuing to grow the culture for radical swings in government ideologies only serves to destroy business confidence and investment. The first policy for any political party should be to learn to work together in the best interests of Albertans. It's not on all governments' back either, though. Abandoned wells have been neglected. Yes, through lack of regulations from government, but it's the industry's tendency to leave a mess for everyone else when a venture is no longer making money. Albertans should not have to bear the responsibility of cleaning up after the oil company. I will stand on a policy that's in the Alberta Liberal platform that will look for energy companies to contribute to reclamation and cleanup bonds as a type of insurance. More pressure needs to be applied on industry to come up with better solutions to pay for abandoned wells. I'll say this again, as I've said on other forums, I will not settle on public dollars being used to clean up oil wells. Mental health is being talked about today. Mental health was talked about yesterday, and mental health will probably be talked about again tomorrow. Yet the government's still lagging in offering better supports to Albertans. Stigmas still dominate when it comes to addictions, which, yes, is a mental illness. I want to bring the change to government to finally put honest action into dealing with mental health. A curriculum, a student having difficulty reading, writing, and doing math isn't reflective of a failed curriculum that's only just being implemented. It's reflective of a system that fails to recognize that every student is different. It's reflective of a system that fails to recognize that there are lacks of mental health support systems in schools, lack of specialized support structures, a lack of accessible psychoeducational assessments for all students who need it. This is what needs to be taken care of to help Alberta students in their learning. This is the same for large city school boards and rural districts alike, but when it comes to rural supports, these funds are stretched even further. Lack of mental health supports affects us all. My oldest son was recently discharged from a 46-day stay at a woefully underfunded mental health unit at the Alberta Children's Hospital. Incredibly loving and very patient staff have done everything they can to help, but they can only do so much. Only 14 beds are available in the unit, so a ridiculous turnover expectation is set. There are no other options for treating under 12 with severe mental health issues in southern Alberta. After discharge, it's back to the flurry of dealing with several different organizations doing everything within their power to give help and support while dealing with a severe lack in funding. While losing a job is probably one of the worst feelings somebody could have when you think of everything that a job is responsible for. I know I lost mine. Simply getting us back to work isn't going to make many issues just go away. We have seen a rise in domestic abuse province-wide, a rise in petty and violent crimes, rural crimes, and a rise in drug use, which has culminated in an opioid crisis that still isn't being taken seriously. Simply stating it is because of a job loss is due to these issues is doing a huge disservice. Waving money in the air to increase law enforcement only takes care of the results of this problem. I'm not saying we shouldn't do better with enforcement. I'm saying again that the lack of government support is dealing with the cause. More money needs to be spent on addiction treatments. More money needs to be spent on mental health in general. To the cynic who shouts, "Who's going to pay for it?" I say this: you already are. You're paying for it when jails need more money for inmates. You're paying for it when you must clean up after vandals. You pay for it when you need more policing. You're paying for it when you curse and swear at the lowlife who broke into your truck. By helping with those mental health issues, the cost of many enforcement structures will go down. Of course, getting us all back to work and feeling your hard work means something again will help. But I can't stress it enough how big a role a person's mental health plays in aspects of all society. To touch briefly, the Alberta Liberal Party believes local voters and decision makers know the needs of their communities. I want to stand up right here now and everyone and thank.
Nobody's listening.
I got more questions.